Hey guys, Work here. Welcome back to the bench, and welcome to a new segment that we're going to call Teardown Tuesdays. Now, the idea of Teardown Tuesday is a short little video showing you the disassembly and assembly of common firearms. Now, we're going to do this quick, so keep with me. Remember, you can always pause if you're doing this step by step. First up for our Teardown Tuesday is the tried and true AR15. Now, the AR15 is relatively simple to break down into its two-piece state. Getting the bolt out is also relatively simple. We're also going to run through quickly, pulling the bolt apart and putting everything back together. So let's go ahead and get started. Standard AR15, the first thing we're going to do is make sure that there's not a magazine in it. Pull back the bolt, make sure the chamber is empty, and then we're going to start the disassembly process. The first step you need to do is pull the upper receiver off the lower receiver. To do that, there's two pins holding this thing together, one in the front and one in the back. These are captured pins that are pushed through from the other side, and they're going to pop through, releasing this up. Now, I always start with the back pin first, popping it out slightly, pulling it out the rest of the way, and that allows the receiver halves to split. From there, we could go ahead and pull the charging handle of the bolt carrier group out, but let's go ahead and split this thing into two completely different pieces and work with a smaller piece. Next thing we have to do is do the exact same thing with the front pin. So from the back side, we're going to pop it and pull it out, and that's going to allow us to separate our two receiver halves. Placing the lower receiver to the side, we're going to focus on the upper receiver here because now we've got the bolt carrier group. Now I'm going to grab a pair of gloves for this, mostly because I use grease on my bolt carrier group, and that crap is messy. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is we're going to flip our receiver over here. And inside here you can see the bolt. Now the bolt can be pulled back with the charging handle. Press the lever on the charging handle and pull it back, and you'll see the bolt will start to come with it. When you get the bolt back to a point where you can grab it, you can go ahead and grab it, pull it out the back, and it's going to come out the back of the firearm. The charging handle can pivot out. Now the charging handle fits in a groove down here in the upper receiver, and there are slots on either side of the receiver that mate with the wings on either side of the charging handle. Now keep an eye out for that, because that's going to really matter when we go to put it back together. Now that we've got this out, let's set the upper aside, grab a piece of our tried and true blue paper towel here, and let's sit our bolt down. Now the nice thing about AR15 bolts is they're extremely easy to disassemble. You can do them with your hands, but generally speaking, it's easiest to do them with one tool, and that tool is a bullet. So the first thing we need to do is we need to remove the firing pin. Now you can see the firing pin down in here, and it's retained in place by a pin on this side. So if we take our bullet, we can actually get the tip of the bullet here, down here into our retaining pin, and start to pull it out. And you can see that it's been pulled now. Now we can just grab it, pull it out completely, and if we tip our bolt back and give it a tap, out comes the firing pin. Now with the firing pin aside, next we can focus on the bolt itself here. So the bolt itself here is a camming bolt, and it's got a cam guide right up here at the top. Now that the firing pin is removed, we can actually rotate that cam guide 90 degrees. So we're going to push the bolt all the way back, we're going to tape this cam guide, we're going to rotate it 90 degrees. And once we've rotated it 90 degrees, give it a tap, and you can pull it out. So with that out, now we can actually just pull the bolt out of the front of the carrier. I'm not going to get any further into this because standard cleaning is only going to go this far. And that's the general disassembly of an AR15 bolt. Now you can do whatever you need to do. You can clean off the carbon, you can re-grease everything if you want, or you can just inspect it to make sure nothing's broken. Reassembly is the opposite of all those steps. Getting rid of our bullet, we can take the bolt, place it back into the carrier group. Remember that our extractor here is going to go towards the ejection port side. That will give you the correct orientation. And if you look down into the hole right here, you can line up the cam pin hole. Now we can take our cam pin, making sure that it's oriented this way, because if it's oriented this way, it's not going to be able to slide past the gas block. So if we take our cam pin, make sure our hole is lined up, slide that pin in, and rotate it 90 degrees. Now we can simply take our firing pin, slide it back into the back, make sure that it's seated forward, then we can take our firing pin retaining pin and slide it back through that hole in the back, trying to keep it perpendicular so that it goes through a little bit easier. With that, our bolt is back together. We can go ahead and grab our upper and get that put back together. We're going to pull the upper back over. So the first thing that you're going to need to do is you're going to need to reinstall your charging handle. Now remember, I told you about these little wings on the charging handle and that there are corresponding grooves inside the channel in the upper. So what we're going to do is we're going to line up those ears with the corresponding grooves, and that's going to set the charging handle down inside that valley. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to grab our bolt carrier group, realizing the importance of making sure that our bolt face is forward. So we're going to take our bolt, we're going to start it into the upper receiver with the gas block in the channel of the charging handle. As we press forward, we can see that it's going to pull the charging handle forward, and we can press the entire thing forward into battery. So at this point, let me go ahead and remove my gloves, grab our lower receiver. Let's put everything back together now. Now again, putting the upper receiver on the lower receiver is extremely simple. We've just got these two pins that we need to line up. Let's start with the front one, lining up the front pin. Go ahead and press that in. Now we can hinge the back down, simply slap that pin in, and we're finished. So that's it for this week's Teardown Tuesday. Keep a lookout for more Teardown Tuesdays. We're going to do Glocks, M&Ps, CZs, and eventually we'll get into some more obscure ones. Keep an eye out on Tuesdays for them, and until next time, do your research, get informed, and get to work.